Um, pull this thing up. I see like my fucking thing doesn't work. Do you want to pull up the your link?
What link?
The live stream link you have in your PM.
Yeah, I have it.
I mean, just open it up. Make sure we're live. Mine's. Pull this thing up. I see like my fucking thing doesn't work. Do you want to pull up the your? Okay.
Yep, it is going.
We're good. All right, so. All right, technical difficulties, but I mean, whatever. We decided we'd do a live stream this time. And as long as the stream holds up and the quality's not bad, we'll just let it roll. So if it's really bad, let us know. Just type something and we can always just go offline. So just so you know, Jason, the last time we did a State of the Union video, I went ahead and just like kind of skimmed through it. That was we had just put in the order book. Like it was just integrated.
Wow.
So to give you some idea of how much stuff has changed since then.
Oh my God. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what do we want to do? I mean, do we want to just, let's see, order book. So the order book going in, yeah, trades weren't happening at that point. The reason we wanted the order book to go in is obviously because you can do fun things with local order book, like not sending trades to the exchange based on what your local order data says. Of course, our order book will never be as close as Binance's, right? It can't be. Nothing can be that close. Not even high frequency traders can be that close. But I think, what do? They give us about a second or so. So it's like, that's what we can get. So but I think that's better than we agreed. That's better than just like submitting orders, hoping that Binance will fill them or whatever. And like we said, or like I just said, we want to do some more fun things with that. So yeah, the order book is in there, and we've been testing live trading for, I don't know, a few weeks now. So live trading is using the order book, and we got all kinds of stuff in there now. It's like actually a real bot that makes real trades and makes real money most of the time. Depends how good your strategies are. That's another thing. We got a ton of strategies. I mean, I should just jump in.
Just go in there. Yeah, why not?
All right, let me just share my screen.
BS as we do it.
Share screen. Go.
Whoop.
Go.
All right, give me a sec. I'm gonna switch this out here because I'm gonna add your screen over. Window capture. I did not prepare for this one. That would be the Skype. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, go for it.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna do this because I want to show this. So we actually now have a dashboard. This is in a branch that I'm working on. It's ahead of the current beta, but this is basically what we're working on.
That's really, just so you know, that's really, really rough, right? That's nowhere close to what we're mocking up.
No,
you just gotta start somewhere. And
no, I mean, this is it totally. It's just you just get to look at some colored boxes and zeros.
look how advanced we are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I think I have a screenshot somewhere here. Let me see if I can find it. Don't have it handy. All right, forget it. But yeah, it's like we'll be filling in the obvious stuff. This weekly data thing is pretty cool. I really wish I could find that screenshot now. But yeah, get out of the way. Let's see if I have it on my desktop really quick. There it is. So yeah, we're gonna do something more along the lines of this here. Is that showing?
Yeah, I can see it. We're good.
Yeah, Cool. Yeah, so this is Jared mocked this up and everything, and it's pretty straightforward. I don't think we need to dive into it too much, but all your statuses with your balances and your portfolio.
Well, what's really important is we want to make sure that you get that really quick, like at a glance view. The chart where we can see our drawdown versus your portfolio value, so you kind of see how your money's performing. And the other piece would be making sure we can drill in. We're going to add these live trades. If you click on one of those lines, it'll take us to the actual pair trading. So in a true sense, it's a dashboard, right? Just so we can, you just can keep that up on your big screen, and it's still interactive and functional. So and this is the kind of stuff we push off to later, because it's like, well, I mean, you got to have all the data, and let's be honest, it's a luxury. It's not a core function of the product. We want to make sure that strategies are tight and trades are going through, right? And then we can play with all this, these cool charts and fun stuff. But just so you know, it's on the table, and it will be worked on in a separate branch. So, yeah. So, this is that separate branch. So, I mean, I'm roughing and stuff. What is in the release though now is we have our actual order history of things that are working on. It's pretty nice. Like, I'm able to, kind of filter on the fly and stuff with these things, which is really cool. I can even look at all my buys, all my sells, so we added that in, and this BTC markets, I'm not even going to click on that because, it's not really worth looking at. So making progress here. Obviously, the trading engine, is taking priority over everything. But again, these are some of the other features that I'm working on that we're pushing forward. Let's see. So if I go to back testing, another thing that we got is we have more strategies now, and we're rolling in little UI pieces along the way for everything. So instead of just looking at what the text says, we give you a little picture there, strategy. And to be fair, that's still just a handful. We haven't had the luxury of just our aim is to get the core engine running, and then we'll have the luxury of just sitting around and implementing sweet strategies. It's really not a ton of work. We do have some pretty cool ones coming up. We got ways to filter out basically sideways trading, a squeeze indicator, which should be coming. We'll probably be switching out, RSI to a proper stochastic RSI. I've got a pretty sweet overall plan for Ichimoku. We can kind of go into that later. But anyway, what I'm saying is these are there. They all work. Ping pong's kind of the bastard stepchild. We need to put some stuff in there, but I mean it mostly works. But I think we talked about that before. The issue with that is, for me anyway, for that ping pong to be useful in my world, I would need to be able to edit that trade on the fly, because you're not setting the channel. We have another strategy that's coming in. It's going to be basically it's going to create like a Keltner band type of thing, and it'll follow those averages for you. But a lot of people love the ping pong. So I mean, we just gotta put those price signs in. Or we can do, which we still haven't all agreed on, but I think it's a good idea. And what makes sense to me is that you define your channel, and then that thing uses trailing to basically move your ping pong around to try to get your entries and exits that way. So there's definitely a lot of things that we could be doing with that. So we just we put it in there, and then you can ping pong with it, but again, it was something that we'll continue working on. I think the bigger things is, I think when we did the last video, we just had, EMA and Ultra BB, right? But it's like, dude, nobody's got this. I mean, nobody has an Ichi that you can back test in the graphs, right? Well, honestly, I don't use this, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to probably not
see if I can.
Because the one that's in there is really, really conservative. So I might as well talk about it now. So basically I've built all of the I call them Lego blocks, okay? Because there's the Ichimoku system has the 5 different lines. There's crossovers and comparisons you can make within that system. Yeah,
that's not a good.
Don't run it on Dent, dude. What are you doing?
I don't even know what Dent is.
Dude,
try to feel.
Yeah, I mean,
I like just pulling these that I don't even know. Well, that's been the thing I've been doing the past few days. I'm like, what is this coin? I'm just gonna try it.
Yeah. So what's in there now?
There we go.
What's in there? Oh, you changed the entry color too. When'd you do that? That's new.
A couple days ago, I didn't like the blue anymore.
Oh, look at you. Okay. So anyway, so like I have all these Lego blocks, right? So we can build pretty much any Ichi strategy we want with all the crossovers. If you look, there's like the flat Kumos. Like I'm looking at ways to code that into. We have to detect flat Kumos, and then we also have to detect if a price has crossed completely through a cloud and not just a cloud breakout. I'll save all that shit for a video that I do that's just Ichimoku only. But anyway, long story short, I have to still hand code some type of strategy that's in there, and the user doesn't really have anything to change other than the inputs that feed into that strategy. So what we're coming up with is a plan that's going to allow us to create 30, 40, 50 different strategies within Ichimoku, and then allow the user to check boxes or pull downs and say, okay, combine all those in an or fashion. If we could do and or, that'd be nice, but otherwise, even just an or fashion, you can say, look, I want to enter on this or this or this. I want to exit on this or this, right?
Yeah.
And so each one of those strategies, I can have a picture and describe, is it a Kumo breakout? Is it a Tenkan cross? Like what is it trying to do? What are the parameters? What are we looking at? And the user will still get basically more things to fiddle with because they're not going to be tied into just one strategy that I built and said, okay, here's what Ichi is for you. That's not essentially fair. And the other side of it is to create a true system of being able to make your own Ichi from scratch. That is a project in and of itself. So I think we found kind of a good medium, for that. And that won't be coming until, I can steal Jason's time because I can't do any of the, front form stuff. Mm-hmm. So basically I'll be tinkering with it. And if I make a major strategy change, I'll let you know. And we'll just say, hey, look, this branch, this is what Ichi is now. Until we get that interface in that lets you tweak.
Well, yeah, I think, obviously, and it's like, it seems like it's backwards because it's all, entering and exiting at the wrong places, obviously. But, dude, I mean, it's just you and Colin bang this out, and it's just awesome that, like, you can, I don't know of any other bot where we can go through the Ichi, like this. So I think that's really cool. So I'm really happy with that. We had a couple more. This is one that Richard and I came up with, this twisted SMA, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to pick one. I don't even know what fun is. Fun.
My prediction, it will be no fun.
Probably, yeah.
But let's see. I'm not going to... Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, these... Oh, yeah, so... Yeah, short term. So basically, this is a triple SMA. It's got this concept short, medium, and long term. And basically, entry is defined by the short crossing up over the mid with the long trending up. So it's kind of cool. It's like basically looking at the long term SMA as the, obviously the longer term trend, and then it's trying to get the short and the medium are crossing and doing their thing, right? And then the exit as defined by the short crossing down over the mid, and also the long term is trending up, right? Or we have a stop loss set, right? So those are our exit things. So let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that one didn't get anything, but yeah, this one doesn't look like it's a. Let me try to get a different pair that's a little better. Pick a high liquidity one. Do like EOS or something a little.
Oh, God, yeah, EOS.
Is that a bad word?
Yeah,
Come on, Dan, let's go. Hey, see, look at you. You made money there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's a nice entry and exit right there. So yeah, this is actually a good case we can use. So let me zoom in. So yeah, basically our long, which is the purple guy, he's on his way up, and we're doing the right cross with our short and midterm, and then here it's the same thing, right? We've crossed down over with those, and then we got our long term is still trending up. So this is kind of cool. We were reading, it's like, hey, we should check this out. Again, this one was super easy to do. It only took me like, an hour or two to get it all, in and plotting and everything. So, so we're basically at that point where, we can start looking at a lot of strategies and things and being like, which ones do we want to mess around with? One thing I have noticed on this guy is he's really good at like catching pumps. So I've run some back tests where there's been like a pump and it's like, the way that the lines and everything are crossing, it's like it's caught it right at the top. So it's pretty awesome. So that one's been fun to play with. And then Ultra BB is probably where I spend the majority of my time because it's just pretty easy to deal with. I don't want to do EOS. What else is a good one? Let's do Tron. So we've had BB, like I said before, but now what we did, again, this was like another thing that we knew we would need confirmation indicators. So we're like, hey, why don't we quickly just play around with RSI? So this is kind of what I use a lot, and I actually don't. I've gotten pretty good results, like not trailing.
That trips me out. That trips me out. You use 2.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever works for you, buddy. But yeah.
I mean, I get some pretty good results with it. So,
know, but look how noisy. Okay. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all I care is really like I like to use it to really filter like just those peaks, so I can try to really get like the high points. So obviously. I couldn't on this exit here. I wouldn't have gotten any higher because it plateaued basically there. But it's like I've done some where it's like I've weeded out like some of these smaller, like around 85 or something to get like bigger returns and stuff. So, whoops.
Yeah, and to be fair, that RSI is just basically that was what Jason likes to call an easy win, right? Because it was already there and we get it in. I mean, we do realize that the true answer there is going to be the real stochastic RSI, which means not even the one that's on TradingView, right? There's actually a better version that we're going to use that's the real thing, right? Mm-hmm. So our team's going to work on that. It does involve some back end pieces, and basically we'll have to focus and do a lot of testing to make sure it's implemented correctly. But that's coming. So for now, it's something, and then the squeeze indicator is going to be huge. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that one. I think because I'll be able to use that even in Ichimoku or other stuff too.
Yep. So I'll get back test where everything is green, which is nice. Of course, real world differs, but So. I don't know. I think like paper trading, we pretty much we've done little updates. I'm constantly tweaking the UI on this. Like you can see this USDC here is the Sentinel is basically everything's async, so we're waiting for pricing and everything. So it's like there's a little bit of confusing iconography there before where it would show like by default like that it was in the red. So I just changed that up recently, and this will eventually pop in like once the WebSocket for the pricing and everything locks down. But you and I have been talking about we got the icon representations here now, instead of the the text and stuff, because the text we're very limited space on that. So it's like we'd have to shorten them, and stuff. So it's kind of nicer just to get these in there and everything.
That brings me up because the reason why Jason's developed them like that way is because we realize real estate's going to get tight when you start trading a lot of pairs, and so this thing will actually collapse. We'll have an option where these tiles will go half size. Essentially, you'll lose the chart, which is why all that data has to kind of be up in the upper half. There you go. And then the other thing is a user asked if they could drag pairs around, and I said, you know what? Probably. I mean, that's a JavaScript magic thing, I'm sure. I mean, I would like that, or even just ways to automatically sort them. If we could hit a auto sort, sort based on trade number or profit value, whatever. We can maybe play around with those tiles later.
Yeah, I had some of that stuff in there, and I pulled it out because once you start moving the blocks, it does all kinds of stuff, and it's like we have a lot of now events that each one of these things listens to. So it's like. That stuff's on the list to put back in. It's just that we have to kind of
so wait a minute. So that ties
dive into it more.
So it's tied into the location on the screen. I mean, isn't it? Aren't these all like
No, it's not that at all. Because once you move one of the screen, detach it from the the DOM in the browser, it detaches all the events associated with that thing too, which is
I gotcha. Okay.
It's just like okay, whatever. So so it's kind of like this trade-off, right? We have all this. Interactivity for stuff that happens, based on all the sockets in real time, and it's like, well, that's what we have to deal with though on the flip side.
And since you're looking at that too, George was asking about Analyzer. And I was like, yeah, well, we just had a long talk about analyzer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have a plan for Analyzer. So Analyzer is going to be the next feature that we roll back in after the dashboard. And Jared and I probably talked for like a few hours. I think it was on Thursday about it because, yeah, people keep asking about the Analyzer. We thought the idea was awesome. But, again, when we did the Analyzer originally, it took like 20 minutes and we would sync down we would sync down every pair and all periods and everything for it. You'd have a big database, which was cool. It was fast. We could do our stuff on it, but it's like we don't want to wait around for 20 minutes. So I think what we're going to do is we're gonna kind of do like a hybrid on back testing. So if you imagine like you could go to a screen. We don't have any mock-ups, but I think the idea is like you go to a screen. I think we said it's going to ask you. It's going to ask you for the period that you want to run. Like, so you want to do a 15-minute candle. I think we said we'll let you fiddle with a few. So for instance, I'll just go over there real quick. So, I mean, we'd have to kind of extrapolate this out. But, if I'm looking at BB here and I have, my big ones here are my SMA, my standard deviation, and my low band, right? So we take like, 2 to 4 very core attributes of the strategy. And we allow you to, kind of mess with those, right? And then you pick your 15-minute period and you click run. And what that will do is the hit to the exchange isn't as bad. So we will take, we'll go down every pair at that period, and then we'll basically run our calculations on it based on those parameters you specified. And so, if you're looking to trade something on 15 minutes, you'll get an answer back saying this is the best probable, result and everything. So that's a good like kind of stopgap, we think, because it's gonna give you enough of that, it's just going to give you enough of that thing that people want, which is basically like, what do I do next? What should I do? Right. There's that whole thing. So, yeah. What are you going to say?
Well, I was just saying, there's still the option. We talked about too. Making it an optional thing where you maybe run it once a day, pulling all that data. Because the roadblock was we can't have somebody wait around to download the entire set of data before you could use the bot, right? So that's why we changed the way backtesting works and what we're looking at.
Yep.
And so like there's a chance we could still do an analyzer type function, but again at the time it was also trying to run all the default strategies on all the candles against all the players. And in my world I was like, it'd be really cool to develop just a good 5-minute strategy and go, it works really well. I've been using Ripple. I've got this 5-minute strategy down. I wonder how it works on everything else. And instead of having to go and click a new pair and run. The computer's job is just go through the market and tell me what else worked well with that strategy, and then I can paper trade those. So Analyzer's not gone, guys. It was one of those things we kind of had to push off. All the code is still there. I mean, I can see it in the code base. It's all there. We just haven't hooked it back in. We've been kind of focused.
Yeah, it's more of it's the application of it in a way that I think makes more sense to. The computer does the calculating and benefit by not having to wait a ton of time to get some answer out of it. So yeah, that's what's going on with that. It'll be back. So yeah, probably in a couple weeks I think we'll probably have that back in.
Cool.
So I think again everybody's seen this stuff, right? Augur. So we did last time we did the order book, right? So there's the order book. There's my one trade that I made. What is this strategy I'm using? Oh yeah, this is one of the things we just did was we modified the dual EMA gain so you can specify the cross either up or down.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been playing actually down a lot.
We should do that in spread too, right?
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, spread we're gonna do negative on that one, right?
Well, I'm saying we can if we can allow a flip.
Oh, right, we can do both. Yeah.
But totally. as long as when we do the positive spread, we turn off the buy trailing. Just turn that off as an option because I think it's kind of confusing. Dude, it's caught me like 4 times. I'll do a test. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm trying to trail a positive positive entry. Like that doesn't work.
Yep.
So yeah, removing that from the UI, and we've already got some of that code too. So
Yep.
that's cool.
Yeah, the other thing too, I will show this is I've also been working and dabbling on getting everything responsive, because a lot of people have said, that like, hey, I can't. There's still things we got to work on. Obviously, this table in this case isn't responsive here.
Right.
But it's like a lot of these things, it's like I've been working on this stuff.
Looks good.
These fonts are actually better now. So we're making progress in that regard. I think even I haven't tried the dashboard. Yeah, see, I've been working on the dashboard. So it's like we're getting all this stuff basically rolled in, and your phone, your iPad will totally work. So
do you have live trades on that one going?
I do.
Let's see them, dude. I think we had that question a few times.
There we go. Yeah, so data. This one was funny. We just talked about this before. I had it paused earlier, and then I was futzing around with the back end, and I could have totally caught this pump if I had it on. So I was playing around with it, and I was like, should have had that thing turned on. But yeah, so this is one of the pairs I'm running on the BB with the RSI and everything. So I mean, it's doing pretty good. Right now, it's not going to exit 14 because I'm not up in the green area here. So I've set, I got my 80/20 that I set for my RSI. Another thing that we have on the too that I actually have it in the code base is I'd like a nice little button under this current P&L here that is just like sell. So we're gonna, I don't know, probably a good few weeks out, but basically you can go into a pair, you just hit buy, you can hit sell, so you can do like overrides and everything, which those aren't too hard. It's just again, it's all timing and everything, but I've been weaving the code in for that too. So yeah, I don't know what my USDC has been doing. USDC has been doing some weird things to me today, and then I had the KNC turned off. I don't know. Again, I've been picking all these weird pairs to see what they've been doing and everything.
Oh, that reminds me too. As I'm looking at this, because we've gone over it before, but the way we're handling the intra-candle trading is if you have like here these BB20s, right? If you have an SMA of 20, we're pulling in to do the calc 19 bars, and we're feeding that 20th bar as a close price in real time. Okay, so that's how we get this intra-candle trading. I did want to ask you, I don't know how that affects in an Ichimoku type thing, especially because those are designed to use closed candles only. There are other traders that would also prefer to use closed candle versus active. Is that something we can? Is that going to be a global setting? Is that something we can adjust, or is that per pair, or is it like what? I meant to ask you, like, how can we handle that within? Is one instance going to have to run the same way, or like how can we handle that?
Yeah, so when we started doing all this stuff, right? It's like we had no intra-candle. We knew that the capability was there, of course, but that was a big discussion between me, you, and Colin, and I was like, I'm not turning that on because just working off closed candles as far as the code is predictable, right? Once we turn that thing on, I don't know what's going to happen. And of course, I ended up turning it on, and all kinds of stuff happens. But it wasn't hard to get it to work right. So we know how both of them work. We're running obviously the intra candles. So I think what we'll probably end up doing is we'll probably end up like, I think on our side, on the code side, we'll probably end up putting some sort of internal configuration that says this strategy, uses closed candles only. Okay. And then, I'll just adjust the engine to look for that. And then we receive all kinds of events from, the exchange that denote, whether the candle, the current price is still forming, right? The candle's still forming. So we know when that happens. So it's not a big, problem to, probably just plot them, and then we can see it like happening, and then only act on when it's a real close event.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish let's see. That's another thing I wanted to bring up really quick. Um, let me find. So let me find real quick. Let me find something that's got a lot of volume just so we can
Yeah,
see.
and while you're doing that, I'll bring up the fact part of our other long discussion was, tools for picking pairs because like you're doing, you just pick ones that sound random, right? We
Yeah,
talked about, hey, can we do volatility calcs on them? Instead of just getting the,
right, right.
instead of just volume, right? What do you really want to trade on? You want to trade on a coin that has volume and
Yeah.
also has exhibited high and low lows, right? So you can get that volatility. So a tool that we would definitely figure out. I mean, we'd have to pull in data, do our own volatility analysis on it, and then spit that back out. And I'm not
Hmm.
really sure where in the app we would do that, like present it to the user, but also something else that we can absolutely do. To be totally honest, a lot of the current focus has really been on the live trading, dealing with Binance's stupid responses sometimes.
Yeah.
That's been a bit of a fight, but it definitely works. The VIPs have been really, really good about spitting out logs and letting us know when stuff happens. We are definitely in a shotgun development environment. We're not fully testing and curating for days before we release. It's kind of like, okay, this pretty much works. Let it out, and
Yeah.
because we just get better feedback that way. It really helps. Instead of just because if it was me, me, dude, I'd be too patient. I'd probably never release anything because it would always be not done.
Hmm.
You're pretty much the opposite, so I think it works out.
Well, I mean, the thing we'll just so we need to leverage the numbers on this to help us prove it out, right? And it makes more sense, to have our community helping us,
For sure.
get to those results faster. So I just added weight. So that was a quick run through. That was like I just ran a quick back test. It looked good. I'm gonna go and look at the paper trade real quick. By the way, the paper trade turns on by default. The live trade does not. Oh, look at that. It bought already. So there it plotted my entry. I got my little message up here. That's pretty cool. Uh,
What'd you set your buy at, dude?
I don't know.
That's weird. I mean, your buy line looks way low.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out
Uh,
because there's no wick on it.
no, that's weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
yeah, so this thing's moving. Well, let me pop it over here.
sure.
So here is we bring that paper trade over to the live trade, right? I'm in testing mode, so I'm only doing tiny, tiny amounts right now. So, I'm gonna do like $6 USD worth of wave. The other thing I don't think we had um, when we showed it last was we didn't have any of the buy and sell types in. So now we have the limits or market orders, and then with the limit we can specify the IOC, the FOK, or the
Right.
GTC. Right now we're focusing just on the FOK, the filler kills, right? Because there's a lot of other things involved with doing the other two, but we had those working before. We'll turn it back once we are feel good that the FOK works fine. So
Right. That's mostly a
um,
book issue. We're making sure that we can trawl the book correctly, get the right answer back,
yep.
do the price averages and amount calculations, and then get that back to the exchange in a timely manner to get that thing filled, and not end up spamming the exchange.
Yep. The one thing I wanted to get something that's moving really fast though, because I wanted to show on here that we're actually, you can kind of see it. We're basically, we're drawing the candles. Yeah, you can see this guy moving as we get the prices in, right? So, you might not be able to totally see it on your screen, but the people that have the bot already, they know that this is going on. So, so yeah, everything's basically running in about as real time as we can get it. So yeah, and I can, turn this thing on or off by flip,
Yeah,
the
and
switch.
if you haven't watched, there's a couple of videos. We got the bear guard stuff. We don't have to cover bear guard and trailing because we've got our own videos for that. But we're gonna be working on probably contextual health videos too. So for each of these pieces, we're instead of having to go read a wiki, you're gonna be able to just click a video and go, what is this? I don't know what this is, and then have it embedded. As we go, I'd like to go. Obviously, strategies are coming. I'd like to be able to have everybody understand and not have to guess what these things mean and what they do. Part of the fun is tweaking and configuring, but we just realize there's a lot of people that want to get into it that just don't have the time, to become, master traders right away. And if we can give somebody help contextually fast, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, let me just run a. I'll run it without RSI to see. Yeah, this wasn't too bad. Yeah, this is that EMA that has the down cross. So there's a big difference between running it with the down. Yeah, decent. 1%. If I was to flip this back to the up, which is originally what we built this strategy, so we got 7%. We'll have probably way less. Yeah. So yeah. I don't even know if turning on the RSI for this is gonna matter much. 20/80 Pareto principle. 80/20. Yeah. So basically putting the RSI
Dude,
killed.
But do we put 14 for me? Would you just humor me? Let's see. Oh, never confirmed. What's your 20 and 80? Look at the lines. Yeah, and it's tighter. So show them how you do it though. Go down. Like, you can hover over that and you can just find, okay, well, how many confirmations would there be? Yep, go up. It tells you the value on the right. So, okay,
Yeah.
35, right? So you change that to 35. You turn your top one to like 60, right? So around that range, whatever you want.
65, 35. Let's do 35 and 65. 35.
And so we're doing all this within the bot, right? You don't have to go to TradingView. It's all here integrated. It's still not great. It's a little more quiet though. I like that. Go down. Where'd you lose?
Yeah.
Did you stop out or something?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's not bad.
Yeah. Turn this off though. And rerun.
Trust me,
Yeah,
guys,
so it's. I mean,
we like to play too. That's
yeah,
part
but I
of
mean,
the fun.
that's the awesome thing though, right? It's like, once you get these pieces all put together, then it's like you can start doing stuff like this. It's like stay in one place, you just turn it off, boom. Okay, cool. Turn it back on, boom.
Sure.
So yeah, it's fun to use and it's fun to build.
I want to touch while you're doing that too, because we had some questions about the licensing structure too, and we really haven't talked much about it because we did the VIP launch and then that was pretty much it, right? We just went into development mode, and since now that we're live, we're getting a lot of interest from outside sources. So I wanted to kind of go over what a license is, what it means, and what you get. Okay. And I think we've touched on this before, but it was probably months and months ago. So we'll just do it again. We were really big on when you own a license, you own it, right? So if the SaaS type stuff doesn't exist yet, but when it does, we will probably have the pro level and above type stuff that if it costs us money, we have to charge that back. We have to say, look, there's maintenance, there's cloud databases, there's stuff that we're going to build that's going to be super cool, but there's a maintenance cost with it. So don't worry about that, because whatever you buy a license, whether that's either your standard, proficient, or pro, like you own that. You're going to own it forever. And after our next major release, during the time between one major release to another, we're still doing fixes. We're still updating. We're still doing features. We're just going to determine there's probably going to be one or two major features that we're just going to go into the next so much work is involved. It's going to go into the next build, right? But your current version will always do what it did as long as the exchange doesn't change. So that's the main thing. We're like, okay, if 5 years from now you still own the original V1 license and you haven't upgraded, and Binance changes something major and it breaks it, we're going to be like, we can't, we don't support that anymore. You need to upgrade. And so we said, okay, cool. Every level's got a different percentage discount to do the upgrade. So all license holders get 25%. I was honestly, Jason, I was tinkering around with giving pros a little bit more of a discount, but we didn't, that's not official. So, but right now, if you own a license, you get a discount on the upgrade. And like I said, it'll work as long as it works. Because we're really big on that. You shouldn't have to constantly pay monthly for something like that.
No, God, I hate that. I mean, and that
what I mean,
everybody, is doing that in the industry, right? Because it's like, it's easier for them just to make money by charging people at faster frequencies, right?
Sure.
So yeah.
So that's where we're at with that, and like I said, there's going to be pro level stuff that we're building, and I'm mainly talking about things that don't exist yet, but are on my wish list. Things dealing with tick data and maybe some other stuff too. Obviously, marketplace has to get built out. We're going to have, there's probably no shortage of list of things that we would want, but that take time and money to make, and so just need to let everybody understand that when you buy one, you can live trade today. Okay, well, we suggest using small amounts for now, but I mean, it works. This thing is doing exactly what it does. We're going to be putting in a lot more cool strategies. If these ones that are in there are just kind of what we built, over time while we were doing everything else. So we're really close to being able to just kind of focus and bring to the table things that nobody else has, and have it visual with all the back testing and the paper trading built in. So that's kind of it. The only licenses we have for sale right now are the Proficient and the Pro. Basically, I put on the website what it means, and that's like one license is a running instance of the software, which means an exchange with an API key. Okay, Jason, I don't know if that is going to change in the future, because we originally talked about putting all these exchanges all at once, all in the same bot, but there's been technical issues and hurdles dealing with the way one exchange needs to use the engine versus another exchange. Is that right, or am I talking on my ass?
Yeah, I think the goal is, we would like to do that. But again, it's just we need to make sure that each one works well.
Yeah.
Before we start piling them on. So I think once that our V1 feature set is locked down and everything, well, then obviously we'll know what is going to be required from, the other exchanges, and then, we'll do them case by case.
So from a licensing perspective, we're just saying, hey, look, how am I going to put this? We're making sure that one big thing is you get the discount on the upgrade, right? So you own it,
Yep.
You have it, you own it. We're going to be adding more stuff. If we, I think even the Proficient gets like 3 licenses, right? So you can run, some people like to run a test account, or if you have a different base, when we start doing different bases, right? You don't want those things to mix. So you have 2 accounts on your one exchange. Well, that's 2 instances. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to price it to where a la carte upgrades will still be more expensive than just buying the bigger license, right? So yeah. I'd love to be able to say, look, you bought the lower end because you weren't sure, these guys, I don't know who these guys are. If this bot works, I've been burned before. I want the cheap one. Fine. And maybe you just want 1 extra account. You don't need 6 or whatever. Okay, fine. But the pricing is going to work out to where, in the future, if you do like this thing, you're like, oh man, this is great. You're much better off just buying the big one. That being said, I think we also talked about upgrading from one license to another will just be the difference, right? So if you had a lower version and you want to upgrade to a newer version, you're just going to pay us the difference like you just bought the biggest one to begin with, okay? So that's, the best way you can do it, right? The fairest way. If that changes, we'll let you know, but that's kind of where we're at right now. So anyway, enough license talk. I just want to make sure there was some clarity there. Hope that was clear.
Well, I'm sure you'll get a bunch of messages.
Yeah, right, right.
What are you talking about?
You know where to find me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, I think that's all I have. I don't really have too much in my notes, dude. I just have a whole bunch of. I got pages and pages of Ichimoku stuff, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of my final is yeah. Since the last video, it's just it's been crazy. So I think probably we'll try to pick up the pace again. You know, to the holidays and everything are soon. But
George also brought up the manual buy and sell. That's a thing that's coming too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Was just having a button under.
Yeah.
And again, I already have a bunch of the code in that handles. I really wanted to turn it on last week, but I didn't yet because other things came up. But yeah, I think it's just part of the whole thing is just we are very, very heads down, and we're like at the finish line pretty much, really close. So we'll pick up the pace and do more of these videos. I think once we kind of get out of that. So
yeah, that's right. But yeah, and we knew. I mean, I guess part of it is we had there's a lot of conversation going on in Discord and stuff. So it's like, but we definitely want to make sure the rest of the world can see kind of the progress of where we're at, and all that stuff. So
yeah, and as far as we'll be doing point release that we'll start rolling in, the other markets and stuff, right? So ETH and whatever, what's USDT or the US Binance has on the USD.
Well, there's BNB market.
BNB, yeah, that one too. But again, we still have some things we need to wrap up with, like localization and increase currency straightened out and everything. So we're getting on that too. And so I think once we finish putting those pieces in there, it's like, I don't know. I mean,
that's a good question too.
It's going to be awesome.
Are there other products that are doing like actual localization? I didn't even look.
Yeah, PT has it.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I just think I think the big question I always keep coming back to, and it's built it, but this is the thing we've been saying all along, which built it. It's like you can't go anywhere and like back test and paper trade and live trade all in the package, the same package, all visually, everything, right? So I think still I keep stepping back being like, man, that's pretty cool. I mean, outside of the fact that we built it, it's just like if I saw this, I'd be like, that thing is freaking cool. So
we're also a special class of dork, Jason.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's more of us out there, right? Crypto is not doing us any favors.
No, and that's the other thing. Yeah.
Make sure you had it somewhere in that video. We captured what the USD price was, so in a year from now we can either laugh or cry more.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, get it while it's cheap.
Right.
So yeah, and again, thanks to all of our VIPs. Thanks for we've had some great verified and pro members coming in and starting like conversations in our Discord community and everything. So it's like we're building that up, and it's like we said, we're in it for the long haul. We're not just gonna pump and dump this thing in like 6 months or whatever. It's like our community we talk to them like every day, literally every day. Everybody's super helpful, has crazy stories they talk about all the time. So it's like it's a cool place, and I like hopping in there every day and just seeing what people are talking about. So big thanks to them, and keep it coming.
Cool. Well, dude, I think we just went for like